everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
Hi, this is T Outlaw.
And we are back with a new episode of the Gourmet Goober podcast. You can catch me, JJ Outlaw, on the Twitters at JJ Outlaw. You can catch me always on Instagram at Gourmet Goober. If you happen to be on Facebook, I am. I admit I hate it, but it's a part of life. But if you're on Facebook, you can always look up the Gourmet Goober blog because that's how we started. And as always, I host this show with my very talented, very funny, what is your nickname again?
Well, right now we can start with Dark Desperado, but damn, now I forgot what the heck
I'm not calling you Skinny Fat Albert.
Thank you, Skinny Fat Albert. That's what it was last week.
T Outlaw, aka Big Daddy, how are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. You can find me, T Outlaw, on Instagram at T Outlaw Josie Wells and on Twitter at T Outlaw. That is TOUTLAW. And you can also look me up at Dark Lucius, but you won't find me.
Dark Lucius? What is that?
That's my new moniker now.
Okay, every week you come up with a new moniker. The pandemic is not going on that long. No.
It's been 2 years.
I realize it's been exactly 2 years today since you last been in your office at work, but I draw the line at calling you Dark Lucius. Absolutely not.
It's better Dark Lucius than Delicious.
We're going to skip that and talk about that off mic.
You can, but one day, one way, you will be calling me Dark Lucius.
I think we're a little stir crazy people. But anyway, we are here at the Gourmet Goober podcast, your bi-weekly show where we talk about the intersection of food and pop culture. You can always catch up to us at thegourmetgoober.com or hit up our distributor.
Yes.
Which is still us, by the way. Plum Good Media. And that's Plum Good, good spelled GOODE.com. So, it's a brand new show, brand new week. We want to say hi to all of our wonderful new listeners that we were blessed with over the past 14 days or so. We still have a lot of listeners in France, so bonjour. And it turns out we are growing in England as well, so
Tally-ho.
All of you in the UK, tally-ho. And if you happen to see Tom Hiddleston, tell him hi for me.
Yeah, also tell Tom that I have a certain set of skills. I will find you.
He's just kidding.
No, I will find you if I am in.
He's upset because he realized that I carry little Loki in my purse still.
Since Christmas?
Yes! Little Loki must be protected, because if it's up to you, you give it to the dog.
Crackle, crackle, munch, munch.
Anyway, so this is the first segment of the show where we talk about our week. I think before we go any further, we want to again express our thoughts for the people of Ukraine. We understand that right now, I believe that the count is 2.1 million people to date has had to evacuate their homes in light of this terrible war that's being brought on by Russia. So my hearts are certainly with you. Also, we want to take just a moment to show a little love to the family of Tracy Braxton, who lost her battle with
esophageal cancer.
Yeah, esophageal cancer today. So by the time you hear this podcast, unfortunately, the news has probably went out. We're big fans of the Braxton family. We first started listening to Toni Braxton and her sisters back when they were out as the Braxton sisters, like the Braxtons, when we were in college, which is dating us, but that's just showing how long we've been fans. In fact, our doggy producer, just as a side note, Braxton is actually named for Tamar Braxton. So we're fans all around, and I just found out about this morning, and she was only 50. She was very young.
Yeah, so, she was.
My understanding is she was about to become a grandmother, and yeah, this is really, really tragic. So just wanted to show some love across the universe and to her family right now. Whether you're fans of their music or their television show that they had on We, the Braxton Family Values. That said, we want to move right on into the show. And like I said last week, I know that right now there's a lot of crazy stuff going around, be it the pandemic, which despite what people think, is still going on, folks. So be it the pandemic, what's happening in Ukraine, the sad news of the week.
Gas prices being high for various reasons.
Gas prices being so high. It's what, $4.35?
Yes.
I think, yeah.
Actually, I was talking to a friend in Chicago who said, he put gas in his ride and he paid like $95 and he freaked out. And we had a moment, but then I had another friend out of San Diego, and I was telling this to my sister a little earlier that I actually put money in, put gas in his ride, and this is in San Diego, and he basically, from empty to full, had to drop $165.
What was he driving? A semi?
No, I don't think it was a semi, but it was a pretty big SUV. Dang. I want to believe it was, I don't think it was a Tahoe, but it was a straight, gas guzzling SUV.
Well, I'm telling you, gas prices get much higher. We're going to downsize to a Flintstone car.
Yeah, I was telling, my man in San Diego was like, hey, at a certain point, I'm going to have a bike in the back seat.
No, I would like to see that.
Well, him on a bike or me on a bike?
You on a bike.
Hell, I haven't been on a bike since I was in college.
Exactly. So while you mull that over, want to just say that we understand that there's tons of crazy ass shit going on right now. And maybe I shouldn't swear like that, but that's how I am right now. So that said, we hope that these next, hour and a half or whatever, we don't really know how long the podcast is. We're like the Holy Spirit in a black church. We're done when we're done.
Yeah, when the ancestors say so.
When the ancestors tell us that we're done, that's when we're done for the 2 weeks. So that said, we hope for however long this episode lasts, that you take an opportunity to join in and at least get some laugh and get your mind off of things that are going on right now.
That's right. So pull out your good book and turn to the book of the Gourmet Goober.
Exactly. So now that we got that out the way, Big Daddy, how was your week?
For the most part, my week was almost like every other week during the pandemic. It's just a lot of being at home, God bless, as opposed to being out in those streets, those COVID, lightened but still apparent streets. Did a lot of work for work. Also did a lot of, tried to mess around, do some stuff around the house. Failed horribly. But basically just tried to get through these times with the best tenacity I can. One. Also tried to be good to the Gourmet Goober this week. She's been through a lot. It's been a thing. But also, speaking of, I know I'm trying not to talk too much about Russia and Ukraine. Speaking about Russia and Ukraine.
Okay.
This is slightly food related, but just for funnies. And I know it's kind of hard to laugh at the funny part of this. But I heard something funny a little earlier about, one of the Goober's favorite things when she took a trip to Canada. We were in Ontario as opposed to Quebec. But one of the big things that come out of Canada, especially the Quebec area province, was the nature of poutine. That's right. The poutine snack, which is basically what, like fries?
Okay, it's French fries and cheese curds topped with gravy at its most basic. But
Yes.
then they also add bacon. And it
Bacon.
is everything. Like, I freely admit I ate my weight in poutine. Like, literally, we were walking down remember, where were we? We were like...
We're in 2 Queens West.
Yes. And literally every time we passed some, ooh, poutine! We stopped. so I could try it. I was obsessed.
Yeah, we basically entered Canada at Windsor. She hit the McDonald's, which had the poutine.
Yep.
I think we got like maybe 25 miles outside of Toronto. We stopped to get some gas. Poutine.
They had poutine.
That's right. Basically, I think we made it through the night. And then the very next day, on the way to, like, we hit the deli. Somehow, I don't even remember if there being poutine in the deli, but somehow she hit poutine.
And you know what the funny thing was? I didn't even ask for poutine in the deli. Remember, we were there and we met that guy who, like, worked at the deli, who used to live in the States and spent time in Chicago. And he was delighted that we were from the States visiting. And he was asking me, you know, because, okay, just as a side note, Big Daddy can tell you, my superpower is just random people usually talk about food to me. He'll vouch for that. Like, we'll be in the grocery store and, like, someone will give me, like, a great recipe. We'll be standing in line to go see a movie and someone will ask if I've heard about this restaurant to some random stranger. I don't know if they just look at me and go, ooh, you know, big girl. Maybe we can talk to her about food.
Well, we won't say all that. But
I don't know if it's like showing in my aura.
Right. She just kind of has this delightful little foodie face.
But the guy at the restaurant, the deli, which is closed now, which is so sad. It was so good. But he, like, hooked me up with poutine. It wasn't even on the menu. He made it for me.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, basically the Goober found a way to try, let me see, McDonald's poutine, gas station poutine, restaurant poutine, street poutine.
A&W poutine, which is actually surprisingly good.
Yeah. Mall poutine. I mean, she was putting in work. I'm like, by the time I came back out, I would think that she was sick of poutine, and then like a few months later, one of the restaurants in Chicago, Elephant and Castle, I found I had poutine, so I brought it to her. She took that pretty quickly.
They actually have, the Elephant and Castle, have what they call a poutineery. So it's like various different versions of poutine. I'm in love.
Yes. She was in love.
Yeah.
She took it well. So anyway, now, this wasn't a big thing about, you know, like our run through poutine, but the joke of this was that since the the military exercises of the Russia, there seems to be a drudge, you know, like the nice people of France, Quebec, and Canada have said, so about this poutine, which I found out is reference to Russian President Vladimir Putin, even though it, of course, was not named after in any way Vladimir Putin. It's anything remotely close to the name of Putin is not going to be used. They said, no, we taking this off our menus, or we're going to change the name of it.
Oh, that's right, because in French, Putin is pronounced Poutine.
Yes.
Oh, that sucks.
That is correct.
Oh my gosh, and so they're taking it off the menu as a result?
Yeah, they're like, no, we want nothing to do with it. Like, hey, people are not ordering this poutine. They want nothing to do with it. As soon as they enunciate the word Putin, they're like, so, no, we're not having that. We're like, no, we're going to do something else.
Okay, first of all, that is horrific. For more than a few reasons. One, well, I'm not trying to make light of what's going on because we can't, and it's horrible. But damn it, man. Now he's affecting Poutine?
Yes.
Just the worst. For so many reasons. The most of which is, of course, the way that he is just ruining the lives of those people in Ukraine. Unfairly so. But as a side note, he's effing up with Poutine. See, that's... wow.
So...
You know what? I think I may have saw that on TV now that I think about it. Yeah, that's right, because wasn't there a restaurant in France that was getting threats?
Yes.
Because people thought Yeah, it was called Maison de la Poutine, which, by the way, just as a side note, that just sounds like my vacation. I would like to go. Like, House of Poutine.
House of Poutine.
But yeah, there was like, I think it was Maison de la Poutine, and it was in France, and they were getting threats because people thought that they were associated with Vladimir Putin.
Yes.
Or Putin. Okay. Horrible. And just as a public service announcement to our many friends in France. And I say this because because we get analytics on our show, right?
Yes.
And like 30% of our listeners are in France for some reason. Apparently, we're really popular in Paris. Who knew?
Oui.
Yes, despite our very bad Paris accents. So, that said, just as a public service announcement, poutine is something beautiful to be shared. It has nothing to do with that awful man Putin. Okay? Maybe they'll rename it. You know, like when we were, what was it, the second Gulf War, when we were dumb enough to, like, call it freedom fries instead of French fries, because France didn't go along with us.
Yeah, we'll take these French fries and put a boot in your rear.
Even though technically freedom fries, one, it was dumb because French fries don't even come from France. Okay, it's Belgium. It's pommes frites. Okay?
Gotcha.
So, renaming it really didn't do anything. It's just, we renamed it. So, maybe we could come up with, like, a new name for Putin, like, little potato piles of joy. I don't know what that is in French. You speak French. Do you know what that would be?
What was it again?
Little piles of potato joy.
Petite, pile, la joie.
Wait.
La
Is it
joie
pomme?
petit.
Because pomme is potato, right?
Pomme, yes. I think it's pomme frites.
Because frites. Okay.
Yeah.
Petite pomme frites.
Les joie.
Les joie. There you are.
Les joie. Les joie. Les pomme frites et joie.
Because I, from what I understand, and you and I had talked briefly about this, but not to the point where they were taking it off the menu. I didn't know that. That's insane. Was when I saw on the news about the threats, part of the problem is people in France aren't familiar with Poutine.
Right.
People of France, do not be afraid of the Poutine. The good Poutine, not the bad Poutine. The good Poutine, it is, as we say, life. Take it from me, I've become an aficionado of the Poutine.
The beef.
Yes. Whatever that is. It's really get your life and just enjoy it. It's so simple and so good. And it's been a while since I've had some. And I've really tried. I've really had to control myself thinking about it. But yes, poutine is delightful. And it would make me sad to know that people are not enjoying really good poutine because of that jerk overseas. Please don't discriminate and be nice to the people serving poutine in France.
Yes. Also, at the same time, to those people who might be take offense to this, I'm not catching a bot or any kind of issues on the blowback of this, but all opinions that were voiced on this on this episode were those of the Gourmet Goober and the Gourmet Goober alone.
Oh, so you're just gonna throw me under the bus?
If there's something below the bus, like below the bus,
wow,
I'm putting you up under.
Okay,
because I'm not catching a bot just because we're talking about jerks, which are once again the opinion of the Gourmet Goober and the Gourmet Goober only. Gourmet Goober podcast and Plum Good Media, but not to Outlaw, who had nothing to do with this whatsoever.
So do the words of the Russian bots come after me. That is because I said something.
Once
wow.
again. I got nothing. Got nothing to do with me. I'm not catching these cyber, people. No. I'm gonna be like your mama. Don't put my name on the internet like that.
Wow.
I will I will pull my name from the internet, and you will just call me Ghost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyway, enjoy your poutine.
Okay.
So anyway, Goober, how was your week?
Well, great until you just turned on like a Russian cyber farm against me.
Hey, you gotta take what you gotta take. I'm trying to protect the venue. The entity that is T Outlaw, nay, Skinny Fat Albert will stay as is.
Okay,
Once again, Goober, how was your week?
Well, again, before you decide to start a Russian bot war against me, my week was rather stressful.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I have been going through a lot because I'm working on a project. And without going into a lot of details, I've taken on a new, well, it's not new, but I'm really focusing on content creation. And there's one big project that goes out in May. And you and I, without going into a lot of detail, because I don't want to, because again, we don't share everything about our lives. You may think we do, Mr. Turn the Russian cyberbot against me. But there's a lot we keep to ourselves. That said, we are going on something of a vacation, and we finally scheduled like the first vacation in a long time. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit go. But this project comes up like right around the time of the vacation. And now the clock is ticking that we have to have everything out before we leave. And I'm freaking out because as Big Daddy can tell you, and this is kind of not something to brag about, but, that whole, allowing myself to go and just let my hair down, especially given the pandemic and then our health issues the last couple of years, like the surprise thing that came up. And it's just been a lot. And so I think it kind of took its toll on me this week to where on Friday afternoon, I was completely spent. I basically told Big Daddy, look, I'm not making dinner. I'm not doing a lot of stuff. I just need to decompose. And
you need to decompose?
Okay, maybe that's not the right word, but...
Are you referring to decompress?
Decompress is what I meant to say.
Gotcha.
Sorry. I don't know why I said decompose. I think I was still in a shock because you apparently decided to throw me under the proverbial bus. But,
run you over a few times.
Back it up just to make sure.
Ease up, back it up, reel up, bring it back on, rewind.
And, you know what, just as a side note, as women, particularly women of a certain age, we're used to juggling a lot, right? Particularly in a lot of ways, if we're caregivers, and it doesn't necessarily have to be of a child. It could be of a loved one. It could be of a parent. You're juggling that. You're juggling work. You're juggling your own emotional well-being. And it's just really hard to kind of get to the point where you can be good to yourself and just take a moment back and just say, okay, that didn't go well. Forgive yourself if you've had a bad meeting or you forgot something at work or something like that. Just to step away and give yourself permission and go, okay, you can start over again. It's all right to just sort of give yourself that space. And it's really hard, particularly for Black women who often have to work twice as hard to get, only half as far in some cases. And
Okay, Kim Kardashian.
Oh, please don't bring that up. I. Why did you bring that up?
Because in reference to you have to work twice as hard to accomplish half of whatever.
Well, first of all, Sunny said that.
Okay, I apologize. Please forgive me, Miss Tony Hostin.
Yeah, don't even get me started on Miss Kim. Get your effing ass up and work. Because I'm like, listen, girlfriend, it's easy for you to say that. And also, Sunny said, it's easy to brag when you have a home run when you started on third base. That goes without question. And the way that she said that is insulting. And, all of us, run different hustles. I run Plum Good. We do this podcast. I have a regular 9 to 5. I'm not the only person who does that as well. But yeah, when you reach that proverbial wall and you feel it to the point where you're just like, you know what, I have nothing left in that cup to pour out. That's where I was at the end of the week. And it's always frightening when you get to that point, especially for me, because that leans into anxiety and other things. And I know for me, what I had to do was I had to take a step away. So today, for example, and I know
What did you do?
No, you know about that. Today we went on the doggy road trip with Braxton. Or I did.
Yeah, you did.
You were asleep.
That's right. She left me at home alone.
You were not down asleep because you always sleep on Saturday mornings.
Yes, I do.
And so what that is Braxton, our dog, the world's best doggy podcast producer. He loves being in the car, seriously, to the point where whenever the keys jingle, he runs to the door and looks at me like, okay, we're off, right? And this morning, I didn't even intend to take him on the road trip. That's the funny thing. He just wouldn't get off the couch. He just wouldn't. Our dog is the ultimate sleep potato, couch potato. Literally getting him to go outside. He's so well trained for wherever his past owner is. He can be on the couch for hours, and then whenever we take him out, that's when he has to go. But we try to keep him on a routine. So every morning we try to wake him up. He usually, feigns indifference. I have to drag him off the couch or his dog bed to get him to go. And so this morning, I just couldn't make him leave. So I put on my coat. He was watching me put on my boots. And finally, I grabbed the keys. And Braxton's like, oh, it's on. Okay, we're going. So we went outside. And then he ran to the car. And then I realized, oh, I don't have my purse. We'll have to walk back. And then he did dead weight, we're not going back. You just got to let me in the car. So I'm like, okay, well, let's take a road trip. So we went to Dunkin' Donuts, which is very simple.
Just like their donuts.
Oh, don't get me started on the donuts. No one goes to Dunkin' for the donuts. That's why they call it Dunkin' and not the donuts, though. But we did pick him up a doggy pup cup, which, if you're unfamiliar with a pup cup, literally it's the most simple thing. It's like a cup full of whipped cream.
Right.
And in this case, because I went to the other Dunkin', the one down the street, I suppose. No, the one in Portage, as opposed to the one down the street from us.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we went to the fancy Dunkin', and he actually got a couple of munchkins. So it wasn't just whipped cream, it was 2 donuts embedded in it too. So he just thought he won the doggy lottery. Watching him eat the puff cup, you guys may have even seen it. I posted on
all social media.
On social media, but it just gave him such joy. And I was just like, you know what? Seeing you just have that moment of happiness gave me happiness.
Yeah, little dude here. We tried to hide it from him. He was not having it. We decided to hold it up in our hand, hold the cup. He almost jumped me for the cup. I handed it to the Goober. The Goober angles it down. He basically takes it to the side, grabs it, does his thing. He's putting in work on this cup to the point where he destroys not only the whipped cream, the munchkin, the cup, the floor.
Yes. He's a very drooly dog. So whipped cream was everywhere. And yeah, it was something I had to clean up, and I wasn't really happy with that. But that was enough that I felt like a human, and I wasn't thinking about, any potential failures, which I know it's all in my head. And just allowed me to just focus on moving on for the week. Because it's hard. It's really, really difficult.
Yeah, because her husband ain't doing crap for her.
That's not true. I was going to say you made me a great dinner tonight.
Over the weekend, two back-to-back dinners.
Yes.
And she's still alive.
You can cook well. But what I'm trying to say is that
I made you brisket.
And I thank you for it.
Wait a minute. Not just brisket. Damn good brisket.
And you know what? I feel more grateful if I wasn't knowing that I'll be facing a Russian bot farm in the morning.
Yeah, you're going to be like facing the bots while, you're snacking on that brisket.
Anyway.
Matter of fact, I think I need to put an S on my chest for that brisket.
I think you're going a little far.
Oh, I'm sorry, a B. SB. Super brisket.
Oh, did you just say super brisket? Really?
Super brisket.
You really just said super brisket.
That's right. Damn, Skippy.
Okay.
It was good brisket, not just straight, around St. Patrick's Day, people have corned beef or around New Year's, but yeah, this was I just said, all right, I'm gonna give me a brisket. I'm gonna throw it in my smoker.
You guys hear how he's being right now, right?
No, I'm being modest.
Yes, this is him being modest.
And I put some funk on it. Matter of fact, my sister wanted me to send some to Texas, but I said no. It's just for me and the Goober because we had to throw down.
Anyway, while you're bragging, I've decided that this week I'm going to...
I wasn't bragging. I was professing. I put in work. I very, very rarely get to talk about food that I make, so that's all I got. So anyway, yeah. I'm sorry. What were you saying again?
I don't know. I was just listening to you talking about your brisket.
It was better than my mama's brisket. It was better than my mama's biscuits. It was delightful. Matter of fact, I felt like moist after eating. I was like, yes. But nonetheless, yes, it was. Sorry, I always want to, profess my love for the Gourmet Goober. And also, yes, the Gourmet Goober had a very hard week. And it is in my best interest to always make sure that not only the Gourmet Goober, but also all women are able to take care of themselves. I mean, or have, know people that are there for them, not only to be a good friend, a good listener, but also a good ally, and more importantly, be able to drive that getaway car and be a good accomplice. Even if you are able to drive away the getaway car, just do your damnedest to, be able to pull that wheel. So that's all I got.
I just would settle for you not selling me out to the Russians. Anyway, while you're doing that, can I share something really interesting that I found out this week?
What was that?
As of Monday, I'm going to be taking a trip to Walmart. Walmart, because they are actually hooking up with a Brooklyn-based company called Van Leeuwen. And if that company sounds familiar, that's because we talked about it on the podcast before.
Okay.
Last year, to be exact. That's when they made a collaboration with Kraft Macaroni and Cheese to come up with the Kraft Macaroni and Cheese ice cream.
Oh, damn. That thing.
Yes, those people. Now, I know you're probably thinking, so, Goober, what is up with that? Well, As of Monday, 3,500 Walmart locations across the country will get an exclusive line of 7 flavors nationwide from the Van Leeuwen Ice Cream Company. The limited collection, which is covers everything including Kraft macaroni and cheese. They also have a pizza flavor in the collection, hot honey, royal wedding cake, which is actually based on the wedding cake that Harry and Meghan had at their wedding, bourbon cherries jubilee, and wild blueberry shortcake. And this is in addition to a Little Debbie ice cream cake, ice cream that they also debuted in there as well.
Okay.
So, here's what's in the collection. So, the Kraft macaroni and cheese. They have something called a Planet Earth ice cream.
Planet Earth?
Which is, according to USA Today, it's described as a blue spirulina almond ice cream with pieces of matcha green tea cake. The pizza ice cream has cream cheese and mozzarella ice cream.
Cream cheese and mozzarella?
Yes, with a tomato jam swirl and a basil crust cookie. Now, the hot honey sounds like it might be more up your alley, though. The hot honey is vanilla ice cream with honeycomb and swirls of Mike's hot honey, which I have to say, hot honey is amazing. Well, just hot honey. It may not be Mike's, but that's the one we use, right?
Yes.
Now, the royal wedding cake is, again, inspired by Harry and Meghan's wedding cake. So it's a floral sweet cream cheese ice cream with chunks of lemon sponge cake with layers of elderflower frosting. Sorry. And I know you're giggling because Marty Pod thought of your mother smells of elderberries.
Yes, that would be one. I'm also thinking to myself, will there be any, members of the royal family or, ex-family members that want to testify about the ice cream?
Well, not sure about that.
Gotcha.
But they also have a Bourbon's Cherry Jubilee ice cream where it's blends of bourbon cherry compote in the ice cream.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Bourbon and cherry.
Okay, bourbon and cherry.
And then it closes out with a wild blueberry shortcake, which blends chunks of shortcake with wild blueberries into vanilla ice cream. So tell me, which of those flavors would you like for me to bring home? Which would you try? And all of the pints retail for under $5.
Okay. To the best of my knowledge, I mean the easiest one to me might be the hot honey, but at the same time, I am intrigued by the royal wedding cake.
And I figure you would do it. I'm actually, you know what? You only live once. I think I'm going to try the Kraft mac and cheese.
Oh, hail to the no.
Just to say that I tried it.
It didn't sound good to me when we first mentioned it. And it basically, even now, still does not sound good to me.
You know what we should do? We should totally do a taste test on Mike like we did with the Coca-Cola soda.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, we had Space Coke.
No, Coca-Cola Starlight.
Whatever the hell it was.
Was supposed to taste like outer space. Which we still haven't placed what the flavor is.
Yeah, I was like, does it smell like, did it taste like Mike Pence?
Again, no. It does taste like...
Space Force.
No. I could throw you on the bus right now, but I'm not going to.
Battlestar Galactica.
It tasted like s'mores.
Tasted like s'mores.
Yeah.
It smelled tasted like a burnt Wookiee.
Okay, I think you're slap happy now. But anyway, it was good, although it did have that weird, burn in the back of your throat thing going on. Wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, it kind of came from remember an alien, the stuff that was coming out of their mouths?
Okay, clearly Big Daddy shouldn't be having any of this.
Okay.
But anyway, I think we should. I think we should try it. I'm going to see if they sell it at the Walmart near us. I'm going to brave the people and go and get it. And then just take a look and see. And we'll let the people decide which one is actually the best.
Okay. I'm going to pray for you.
Oh, you trying that mac and cheese after throwing me over?
No. Nope.
Yes, yes. We both going to try it together.
Not going to try it with a 10-foot pole or a 10-foot spoon.
Well, it's only done for a limited time. My understanding is it's only good until the end of summer. And then they're going to switch out and have other flavors.
Like straight vanilla.
You are basic, aren't you?
Straight vanilla, yes. No, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I'm going to put a little twist on it. French vanilla.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to get risky.
Fancy.
Yes. Yes, I am.
So, with that in mind, while you mull over the different basic vanilla flavors, versions that you'll want to get, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about 3 stories that, again, cross the intersection between food and pop culture in a segment that we call What's Eating Us. And you're listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast, and we will be right back. Hey guys, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And we're the co-hosts of the Gourmet Goober podcast. Let me ask you something. Have you guys ever thought about starting your own podcast?
Yes.
I know when we were starting to get this podcast off the ground, we had a lot of questions, right? Like, how do we record an episode? How do we get our shows and all those apps that people like to listen to? And more importantly, how do we make money from the podcast, right? Well, the answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're reading this ad, right?
Mm-hmm.
We love Anchor. Anchor has made it really simple to start the Gourmet Goober podcast. It's been a great thing to use, and Big Daddy's a big fan.
Yes, I am.
So if you wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, just go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me, Big Daddy, and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. We can't wait to hear your podcast. Hey everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
Hi, this is T Outlaw.
And we are back with the second segment of the Gourmet Goober podcast. And what we call What's Eating Us. That's where we share the news of the week that covers the intersection of food and pop culture. Just as a reminder, if you have a comment about any story that we talk about, or even if there's a story that you would like us to share with our listeners, you can email us anytime at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. And this week's 3 stories, gotta say, sort of left me shook.
Okay, left you shook.
Just for some of their audacity and just kind of general craziness.
Yeah, that's basically all stories we have.
So let's talk about the first one. This one, I have to admit, is probably the insane thing I've heard this week. Only because, dude, they're children. Okay, let me just take a step back because you're looking at me kind of weird. It's Girl Scout cookie time, right?
Yes.
That's the time where we see the adorable little girls dressed in, well, not all little girls, they're teenagers and whatnot, and the Girl Scouts, dressed in green or shades of green, usually parked outside of your grocery store and things like that, hawking those delicious, irresistible cookies that right now you're probably hiding in your freezer. So, totally cute, right?
Yeah.
Well, according to Business Insider, there is an ongoing problem right now that people are screaming at Girl Scouts.
Why are they screaming at Girl Scouts?
Because they're harassing young children as young as 5, and they're being harassed for a whole host of reasons. from selling unhealthy cookies to a conspiracy that apparently the money raised by the Girl Scouts fund abortion.
Wait, what?
I know, that was my response exactly. So, according to Business Insider, parents and scout leaders say that Girl Scouts are increasingly being harassed by selling cookies. In the case of a lot of the kids, as they go door to door, which, as a side note, I'm still shocked that people go door to door in this day and age. That's sort of crazy in its own, but anyway, they'll go door to door, they'll knock on the door, and when the person opens, they'll offer them to sell them Girl Scout cookies, and they will unnecessarily yell at them and say, "Hey, do you understand how unhealthy these Girl Scout cookies are?" Well, one, they're cookies, so yes, it's in the name. They're not asking you to freebase them.
I'm intrigued by this. Wait a minute. They're like, these cookies are unhealthy. Why are you trying to sell me? They've been selling Girl Scout cookies for what? 30, 40, 50 years now?
Yes, exactly. So this actually came from a recent post about cookie seller harassment and a popular Facebook parenting group that netted more than 100 replies. And they had dozens of stories from troop leaders and other adult volunteers and what their girls endured. So it may be because of the pandemic or something along those lines. But there is a case, for example, that there's a woman that went to door with Girl Scout cookies. And she's seen passerbys make comments about weight gain, telling the girls they can't trust themselves to have Thin Mints at home. And they accuse the girls of poisoning people.
Okay.
Which is insane.
That's hilarious to me.
They're children. What do they have to do with that?
They're literally it's a cookie hustle. What do you expect? They're basically profiting on these cookies.
So there's a woman that lives in Shaker Heights, Ohio, who also witnessed diet-related harassment firsthand. She was running a supermarket cookie booth back in 2016 with a troop of 9 and 10-year-olds, and one girl looked at the Girl Scouts and said, "Cookies make you fat," and walked away.
Okay, there are very few times that I get to drop knowledge on this, but this can be explained Rihanna style. No shit.
And to answer your question, the Girl Scouts of America first sold cookies to fund troop activities as early as 1917. So they have been doing this literally from 1917.
1917.
We all know how that works, right?
Since the First World War?
Yes.
That's over 100 years.
So the idea that you were taking out your aggression for the Girl Scouts, a lot, they're children. Why are you screaming at them? Other reasons why the kids are being yelled at, there's one parent in particular who said that the use of palm oil in Girl Scout cookies, there was a 5-year-old who got yelled at because of that.
Wait a minute. What, palm oil?
Well, apparently, palm oil is used in commercial baked goods. Now, the oil itself is controversial according to this article because the production has led to deforestation and disrupted the habitat of endangered species.
Oh, good grief.
And trust me, I believe in global warming. I believe in taking care of the planet, all of that. But at the end of the day, come on, what is this 5-year-old going to do? Go back and start protesting? What would you have her do? She's 5. Let her be. If you don't want the cookies, just leave them be.
Yeah, just keep moving. Like, hey, just say no. Nancy Reagan said, just say no.
No, exactly.
Yeah, just keep moving.
Now, to answer your question, your response earlier about the abortion issue, there is a weird and very wrong conspiracy theory that was put out in 2004. There was a leader of an anti-abortion group in Waco, Texas, who took out ads to protest a cozy relationship, quote unquote, between the Girl Scouts and Planned Parenthood. Apparently, there was a group that included a Waco-era Girl Scout cookie troop that put his name and logo on brochures distributed at Planned Parenthood sex education programs for tweens and young teenagers. So, according to the NBC news report that covered it back at the time, this was not true. And it wasn't that big of a deal. Apparently, it was like a one-time affiliation or something, but it's not like the Girl Scout Cookies of America has anything to do with Planned Parenthood.
The Girl Scout Cookies of America.
Oh, the Girl Scouts,
of America.
USA.
Right.
So, and there's a simple way you can even check this. Having used to work in grant writing, there's a form called a 990 form.
Okay.
And the 990 form is filed every year by nonprofits and corporate entities that you can actually see where the money's going. It's very useful if you ever want to fund an organization and you want to see, are they distributing the funds that they're raising to the people who need it, or is it a money grab where they're taking it off the top, right?
Okay.
So the 990 has to tell every financial relationship with every organization that they interact with. And every 990 that's been issued, and this is a federal form, there's no relationship. But the damage was done when this lady put this rumor out there. And as a result, it's an ongoing issue where there's another woman by the name of Indy Rajan who leads a Girl Scout cookie troop in Dublin, Ohio. She was working a cookie booth in front of the local Walgreens when a woman approached her that said she wouldn't support the Girl Scouts until they dropped their support of Planned Parenthood. The girls, who were all age 10, had absolutely no idea what was going on, and the parents reportedly was too shocked to respond.
I would honestly believe that because I'm thinking, okay, I can only work from my history because, one, I'm a boy, and I was never been affiliated with Girl Scouts except as a consumer of cookies. But I do know that I wasn't so much, I guess I didn't quite reach Boy Scouts. I was a Cub Scout for a very short time because, well, I was a chubby little kid and I enjoyed cookies and I wasn't enjoying the woods that much, and all the stuff we had to do, but also didn't enjoy the little blue uniform with the little scarf. I used that as a snot rag, but I digress.
Oh my god!
Wait,
is that like the bandana we put on Braxton to cover his drool?
Maybe. But the gist of this is, if there's one thing I know about the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts of America, they are very conservative, if you will. They are very into family values, and I would be willing to say that the Boy Scouts of America, nay, the Cub Scouts of America, and I would truly believe that if they're along the same organizational lines as the Girl Scouts of America, do not out and out support Planned Parenthood. But also, I like to say to them, I have nothing against the people of Planned Parenthood because, hey, the people of Planned Parenthood need cookies too.
Okay, let's take a step back.
Okay.
There's two things at issue here. One, and we as a show try not to get too much into politics.
Yeah.
That said, there's a common misnomer that the only thing that Planned Parenthood does is issue abortion when they provide valuable health care for women, many of whom do not have regular access to health care for gynecological issues. I know that Planned Parenthood played a very important role in my life when I was in college. And abortion is still legal, people. So, no, I'm not going to get into the weeds one way or the other. I'm not going to talk about my feelings on it. This is a food show. But the idea that you hate on this organization that does a lot of incredible work is really insane. But that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
The main issue is, one, the tie between these two organizations is a lie. it's not something that's the case. And then two, who the hell screams at the kids? How are the children supposed to handle this? Seriously, please, just for the love of God, leave the little kids alone. Okay? If you do not want a Girl Scout cookie because you're worried that it's going to mess up your keto routine, if you think that you're going to get, you know, bad vibes from your neighbors because how they feel about certain issues, then fine. Walking past, you know how in our community there's that saying that shutting up is free?
Yes.
Shutting up is totally free. And not harassing children, it's okay. Okay? Because many of these children, and they're little, and many times they're doing this to these young girls, you know that they're harassing them because they feel that they can because they're girls. And it's frustrating for a number of reasons. So my thinking is, what are they doing to protect these kids? Because the Karens of the world are insane, and now they're going after the Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, they need somebody to aim at.
So, in case you're wondering, the Girl Scouts say that they're preparing their girls to handle difficult situations. For Scouts, there's actually a program, believe it or not, called Cookie University, which prepares girls with talking points to handle encounters with angry customers. And then, in most cases, like there's one council where adults are required to volunteer for a shift in the cookie booth. And girls can have them take over a conversation they feel uncomfortable. But all I can say is, look, I know we're all on edge. I know the pandemic has got us squirrely. I realize that. We live in a world where people are literally like harassing people because they want their children to wear a mask.
They want their cookies on time.
But at the end of the day, they're cookies, okay? You either have a choice of eating the cookies or not eating the cookies, but yelling at the kids are not okay. Oh my gosh.
Even though, now that I think about it, the last time I saw, and this might have been just before the pandemic, or maybe it was around the time we talked about, trying to get the Girl Scout cookies in GI.
Yes, the Girl Scouts did not deliver to us. In fact, that was actually an episode of the podcast the episode is called Cookie Quest.
Yes.
And it talked about our ill-fated attempts to get the Girl Scouts to deliver cookies through DoorDash to where we lived. It did not go well.
No, it did not.
That said, we did not go after the Girl Scouts because we couldn't get our cookies. Actually, we hightailed it over to Aldi's, which has their own Girl Scout cookie knockoffs that are really good. But that's neither here nor there. The point I'm trying to make is, please do not harass them for the cookies.
And the point I'm trying to make is, the last time I saw some Girl Scouts, which may have been either right before the pandemic or
I know
during.
where this is going.
No,
it was during the pandemic. Remember, because it was right before we did the podcast, and we were locked in. And I was like, "Oh, look, we can get Girl Scout cookies delivered to us." And then we put in our zip code, "Not you people." And remember, and then we thought, "Oh, we'll go and pick them up." Not you people.
Yeah.
Okay, that was not okay, y'all. And we did call you out for that, Girl Scouts. But we don't believe in harassment. Right?
Right.
Okay.
Gotcha. We do what we do. But
and I have to say the knockoffs are really good.
They're almost dead on. I mean, I'm thinking that there's a hustle. Since they couldn't filter it out, without catching heat, I think they might be filtering them through another consumer.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad because someone obviously jacked the Girl Scout for their cookie recipe. But still, don't harass the Girl Scouts. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's a good term. Don't harass the Girl Scouts or they will find you.
So, moving on to another type of, maybe this will kind of clear the room because I know that first topic was a little heavy. So remember we had talked about this on a podcast some time ago about the website McBroken.com. And just to refresh your memory, it was a website that was started that gave you a real-time ability to track McDonald's ice cream machines, which were seemingly always broken. Do you remember that?
I do.
So that site has been going on, I think, onwards? It's had to have been over a year, right?
Yeah, easily a year.
And it really became popular because, let's face it, the ice cream machine is always not working. So, McBroken is still up in 2022.
Okay.
But it has a new owner.
Really?
Jack in a Box.
Wait a minute, Jack in the Box of all people?
Jack in a Box, the restaurant chain, actually purchased McBroken. And they're going to have it running for the next month as a way to troll McDonald's.
Huh.
So right now, if you go to McBroken.com, it actually takes you to the site and it says, "Don't get McShammed. Is the McDonald's ice cream machine broken?" It has a Jack in a Box logo, and it gives you the opportunity to download the Jack in a Box app from the site in order to get a $2 milkshake using the code McShammed.
McShammed?
McShammed.
Is it McSham or McScammed?
McShammed.
Okay, McShammed. Okay, fair enough.
Now, they call it McSham because, one, they're saying that McDonald's promise of a shake is a sham. But also, it's a very clever way of promoting their own Shamrock Shake type drink, which is an Oreo mint milkshake. Say that 3 times fast. So, yeah. So, what do you think? This is probably the most epic trolling of all time.
I'm actually quite impressed.
I have to say, I tip my hat off to Jack in a Box Betty.
Yeah, their attempt was actually quite impressive. I will give them that.
So what do you think? I mean, first of all, if you're McDonald's, do you respond? How do you deal with that?
I might be soon talking to him with a lawsuit.
But you can't sue them. I mean, McBroken.com has been operating for a long time. McDonald's knew about that. There's no way that they could take action about it. It was just a way that people could, in real time, use, almost like the Waze app talks in community time frame about, traffic jams and things like that. It was like the Waze app of McDonald's milkshakes.
Okay.
But the fact that Jack in the Box took it over, oh my God, chef's kiss.
And all I was thinking was, damn it, I just want you to fix, make sure your shake machines work. That's all I want. But yeah, like, basically Jack in the Box has jumped into that fray, and as you say, their level of petty was quite innovative and impressive.
The funny thing is they also, when you go to this site, McBroken has always shown, for example, by color code, broken, working is green, broken is red, and unavailable is gray. They added another thing where it's a symbol of the Jack in the Box head.
Okay.
And it's Jack in the Box, so it shows you now on the map where to find your nearest Jack in the Box.
So basically they slid in and said, hey, because their machines are always broken and or around this area, there's a Jack in the Box just down the road.
Exactly.
And we got what they ain't.
So right now, at this very moment, 10.14% of Jack in the Box, McDonald's machines are broken. 24.49% is broken in New York City. 22.41% is broken in Dallas. In Houston, 20.61% of all McDonald's shake machines are broken in Houston. 11.86% in Phoenix. San Diego is 11.11. Chicago, our hometown, Chi-Town, is 9.73%.
Wait, I'm calling shenanigans.
You're thinking it's more, right?
That's got to be damn near 50%. As a matter of fact, I think we had a conversation a week ago about the concept of, do they train they're broken so often, do they actually train, the people that work there on the shake machines?
I don't think they do. You want to know something weird, though? Right now in San Francisco, according to this, none of their shake machines are broken. Also in Boston.
Yeah.
Although we did see the wire, so I can kind of see they don't want to go without that shake.
No, they don't want to catch heat. And I'm sure during Shamrock season, no.
Exactly.
Since we're right on the precipice of the Shamrock season.
Oh,
no.
Marty, I'm sorry, on St. Patrick's Day in Boston?
Yes. Right.
Oh, yeah, their machines work.
Right. Because if, certain people want the, Shamrock shakes, they're not going to fake the funk that week.
So if you live in San Francisco or Boston and you're listening to us talk about the broken machines, are they, like, confused? Like, dude, man, our machines are working. Like, do they think the rest of the country is making it up?
No, I'm thinking I think somebody lying to us. I think there's some liars out there. One, because I truly, like, if you work for, McDonald's, you're definitely free to, inform us, but tell the truth. And, keep it anonymous, but, keep it on the low, but tell us the truth.
Here's another thing to think about, too. Jack in the Box aren't available everywhere.
No, I cannot think with us, like, you can't find one within 2.5 hours of here.
Right. Like, the closest Jack in the Box I know is where my parents live in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So, if you live in Chicagoland, where even though it says 9.73%, you're convinced it's 50, we really can't take advantage of the shake from Jack in the Box.
Yeah, you have to go down. You have to go to like Sonic's or Dairy Queen, or you just gotta find a decent ice cream place. Because shake machines, whether or not they work in Chicago, you're not gonna find a Jack in the Box. If you work for Jack in the Box, if you are listening, you are definitely. Well, I guess you can also go to Shake Shack, but if you do work for Jack in the Box and you're in the corporate office and you want to put a franchise in or around Chicago or Northwest Indiana, hit us up.
Yeah.
We're willing to be consumers.
You know what? I like Jack in the Box, though, because where else are you going to get, like, tacos, a breakfast sandwich, and burgers all in the same place? So, hey, like Big Daddy said, hit us up. And I have to, again, tip my hat off to you guys, because to be able to do that is just epic petty. That was impressive.
Yeah, we give them credit for like being able to jump into that and basically steal McDonald's thunder, or at least their flaw, and use it to the best of their advantage.
Yeah, and kudos to the people at McBroken to think of selling it, because that's genius too.
Yeah.
So, our last story, actually, just to completely change gears, is kind of built around a show that Big Daddy and I have been obsessed with lately, Abbott Elementary. And if you haven't seen the show, it's an ABC show. It's really great. It's kind of like a first person, it's sort of like The Office, where they have like people talking to the camera and doing confessionals that way. It's set at a Philadelphia underfunded school. It's a show that was started by comedian, the name just, is it Quinta Brunson?
Quinta Brunson?
Yeah, I think so.
Please forgive us if we get the name wrong.
Yes, please forgive me. I'm old age and my brain just went.
Having one of those Joe Biden moments, huh?
Hey, it's been a personal summer kind of day, and sometimes that just takes your brain away.
That's right. Here's the deal. We know what it is. We're just having a moment to express it.
Yes. But anyway, if you haven't seen the show, it has a lot of heart. Um, and it has a really great cast like Cheryl Lee Ralph, who we love, Tyler James Williams, who you may know from Everybody Hates Chris.
Yes.
He's in the show. It's really funny. It kind of calls attention to the play, the teachers, and the work they do every day to ensure that these young children, despite being in an area that's heavily underfunded, so they have, lack of resources as far as supplies and older books, but making sure they do the best they can to give these kids the education they deserve.
Right. And that's a fun note to, I wouldn't say a full love, but, gives a cool nod to Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. Philadelphia is definitely part of the show, which I think is lovely. And the way that they weave Philadelphia culture, using words like John and things like that. So, yeah, kudos to them for doing it. So, Big Daddy and I watched the show first, and then I introduced you to the show, and you've been binging it. Because, again, it's really, really great. It's on a temporary break, but just as a side note, what they're doing is this show has been getting so much love that they hadn't had to spend all of their marketing dollars. So what they're doing, I really love it, is they're partnering with Scholastic to donate some of the money to schools like the ones portrayed in Abbott Elementary to help these kids. Isn't that great?
Yeah, it is.
So one of the episodes in particular that really got us talking has to do with pizza. There's an episode where Tyler James Williams' character, his name is Greg, and as it turned to find out, Greg is not fond of pizza.
No, he is not.
Now, I love this episode for a couple of reasons, and I don't want to give it away, because you have to see the whole episode to find out some of the nuances of Greg's character. So I came away with two thoughts. One, you or Greg. You're like...
I love
you're
pizza.
Eating, no, not just the pizza, but just like your eating style. It's very similar to Greg. So if you've seen the episode, then you know what I'm dealing with as far as Big Daddy's food choices.
Okay, I have some requirements.
Yes. He's going through all of his list of issues, and I'm looking at him like, oh my God, did you write this episode? He's you.
I mean, I like seasoning. Some.
Yes, some.
Yeah. I definitely flavor things up, but at the same time, yes, I like things very traditional. I'm a vanilla eater.
Yes. Yes,
yeah.
He is.
I just stick to my basic food groups. The consistent meats. A few cheeses. When I got married to my wife, I referenced the fact that I eat certain meats, cheeses, beans, peas, corn, rice. Everything else is on a negotiation basis.
Yes, although he's opened up the negotiation, so we eat more than just that, thank God. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
So anyway, that got us talking a great deal. And I came across this article that, speaking of pizza, because that was one of Greg's bugaboos, that I saw in a lot of foodie groups that I was a member of, and it was dealing with pizza, in particular, pizza enjoyed by, of all people, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I know you're thinking, what does this have to do with things, right?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, yeah.
So, first of all, if you guys aren't familiar with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, get your life. It's a really great show. I happen to love the cartoons of the 90s the best. I've seen them all with my little brothers. Shout out to them who pretended like they're Ninja Turtles and jumped out the window. So when I saw them, I thought the house was on fire, but no. They're reenacting the scene from the Ninja Turtles wearing their backpacks. Sorry, Mom and Dad, that happened.
Okay, that is actually kind of fun. I would actually like to watch that, but then, of course, I had a little cousin when, around the time Ninja Turtles came out, and, well, he used to, of course, put on all the gear and, had the little fake shell on his back, and we did stuff to him, like, we used to swing him around and have him jump off stuff.
Okay, that sounds like another issue altogether. Isn't that the same kid that you played wrestle with and threw him off the bed?
that was a wait a minute, that was my other. That was actually that was my play cousin. That was when I like, when the other thing is, when you have like wrestling moves, and like you were into like WWE. I'm sorry, at that point it was like WWF, but when you're doing WWE and you decided to give him like, a suplex or a Jake the Snake like DDT. I did it a little bit too hard.
Okay, first of all, it's a miracle you didn't kill your cousins.
Yeah, I gave him a.
Second of all, how did you convince him to do it?
Because I let him put me in a finger four leg lock. We try all kind of stuff on each other. This is what boys do when they have like time on their hands and like are not quite supervised quite right.
Yeah, the non-supervision is the key point. But anyway, going back to the story. So here's the thing. I'm in a lot of foodie groups on Facebook when I am on Facebook. And the episode dealing with Greg and his dislike of pizza came up a lot. But the other thing that came up that a couple people tied to it was they tried to figure out what type of pizza that he liked.
Yeah.
And he came up with this type that was like completely fake. And so someone shared this article about other weird pizza combinations. Because the combination came up with, and I don't want to ruin it, it was kind of like, dude. And it has to do with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because we know they were famous for loving pizza.
Right.
And this article is from Cracked Magazine, or Cracked, the website. And it was a taste test that they actually did of 8 of the weirdest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pizza combinations that was portrayed in the 90s show.
Huh. Okay. I'm almost afraid to know what these were.
Yes. So keep in mind, they live underground. If you've never seen the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they're mutants, they're ninjas, they're turtles, and they love pizza. That's all you really need to know about the show. And so for some weird reason, they were able to order pizza and it was dropped in the sewer where they lived. Again, all you need to know. It was the 90s. We didn't ask questions.
Yeah, it's like hanging out with pizza rats.
So anyway, the episode, the 4 turtles would order pizza and they would have some combination of weird topping. Mm-hmm. And what they decided to do is they took a vote within the Cracked website with the understanding that the person who wrote the article actually tried them. So, for example, the first combination was jelly beans and sausage, and it was taken from an episode called Slash, the Evil Turtle from Dimension X.
I'm sorry, did you say jelly beans and sausage?
Yes, I did.
Huh.
This was actually something that Michelangelo particularly had a fondness for. It's a topping. So, the way that worked is that they would get these ideas for insane pizza toppings from the episode. They would try their best to recreate it in their test kitchen, right? Mm-hmm. And then there was a score either radical, if it's good, or curses with shredder, if it's bad.
Okay.
So it's radical or curses. So, the first one, I just thought I would share this and see, one, if you'd be willing to try this as a pizza topping. And then 2, do you think it's radical or curses?
Is there like a middle ground in this?
No. Unfortunately, It's radicals or curses.
You're going to hear a lot of curses.
So, jelly bean and sausage.
Jelly bean and sausage.
Jelly bean and sausage. First of all, would you try it?
Okay. I got to admit, this is interesting because technically I love jelly beans since I was a little kid, like Ronald Reagan. And if you're talking about the one thing I absolutely, positively, truly have to have on a pizza,
it's sausage.
It is sausage. Yeah, you can crumble it, you can chop it up, you can, flambe. Yeah, you can smoke the thing. Yeah, I love sausage.
Okay.
Now, I would think like the texture might be weird, especially when if you bake. I'm sorry, like yeah, if you do a pizza, put it in the oven and whatever, like it would be kind of hardcore. But you know what? I would actually try it. Yes, I would say that would be kind of rad to me.
Okay. So this person who wrote it, they cooked the pie up and they decorated the pie with one of 29 flavors of the jelly. They use jelly bellies, okay? So the
Mm.
flavors that they put on the pizza were watermelon, cotton candy, lemon, pina colada. He said something that was a red one that was either very cherry or sizzling cinnamon. I love it that he didn't know.
Yeah, even though women, this is kind of like the Kool Aid thing. Maybe they just had red.
Just red.
That's right. Just all you need is red.
Now, he said the cooking process melted the candy's outer shell,
Mm.
which left a stain on the cheese that boasted most of the colors of the rainbow. It definitely wasn't aesthetically pleasing, but I'm here to showcase my culinary excellence, even though it's clearly not off the charts. My first bite of both jelly bean and sausage was just fine with me. The sausage and pizza were great, and aside from burning my hand on a particularly spicy jelly bean, I had no harsh words about the bean front. He then went on to say that the jelly beans took nothing away from the taste, and he kind of compared it to like the sweetness, the slight sweetness and savoriness you get for like a pineapple pizza without the pineapple.
Okay.
So, according to him, it was ding ding radical.
Rad. It was rad.
So the second choice, number 7, was goulash, and this was taken from the episode called Turtles on the Orient Express. And so basically, if you're not familiar, goulash is sort of this like spicy beef stew. They usually have macaroni in it. Do you think pizza and goulash would be radical or curses?
Okay. See, on first, like I guess vocally, like in my mind, if I heard the word goulash and pizza, I would instantly say no. But now that I'm thinking about it, okay, if I take away the word goulash and actually just close me, like you blindfold me and you just put it in front of me, yeah, I actually would try it. Now that you say, yeah, like a beef stew type, yeah, depending on how wet it is, yeah, I would definitely try it.
Well, and it's a Hungarian dish. So what he did was he spread the goulash on the pizza, put it in the oven, and the goulash became crispy after the trip through the onion, but the slicing was still a bit soggy due to the liquid involved.
Okay.
So again, he said, aesthetically not much changed about the pizza, but he said the soup bits such as the meat, macaroni, and veggies blend well with the pizza and sauce. So if you're on the fence of getting the full goulash pizza treatment, it couldn't hurt to just order a cup of goulash and dip your pizza in it. So,
Okay.
verdict, radical. Ding.
Rad.
Now we're getting to the parts that are not radical.
Okay.
Next,
Nervous?
next up, peanut butter and clams from the episode Green with Chelsea.
Mm. Mm.
We're just gonna skip ahead. I'm not even gonna look at the because I saw a picture of this pizza and
You saw, wait a minute, from the picture you're already backing up.
yeah, major. Well,
Is this an East Coasters type thing?
this is a no thing.
Wow.
Here, let me show you the picture.
Oh, damn.
Exactly. So, would you try it?
Ooh. Hold on. I'm sweating a little bit. Wow. This is kind of Kanye, yay. Huh. No. Can't do it.
Okay.
Can't do it. Dope.
Do you think it's a curses or a radical?
What's beyond curses?
I don't think anything is beyond curses.
All right, I'm gonna say curses.
Yes, it is a curses. All right. I admit, looking at the other one kind of upset my stomach, so we're going to skip through some of the other yucky ones. This one's actually one that I would try. Marshmallow and pepperoni. It's taken from the episode called April Fool. And it's just as it sounds. It's marshmallow and pepperoni.
Marshmallow and pepperoni. This is definitely a New Yorker type, like Ghostbusters feel.
So, one, would you try it? And describe how he made it. He used mini marshmallows. And of course, on pepperoni pizza. He described that the mini marshmallows kind of became crunchy once you put it through the oven. So you kind of have this crunchy crust on the top, mixed in with the cheese and other stuff with the pepperoni. So, would you try? And I'm on of all of these. That's the one I would try: the marshmallow and pepperoni. Would you try it?
You know what? I would try it, and it's for this because second to sausage, pepperoni is one. My second favorite topping. As the Goober knows that, she told me that pepperoni was a meat, and I said, well,
It's a meat.
it's like meat adjacent, but I'll definitely take it. If you have pizza that was nothing but pepperoni, I'm tight. I'm okay. Marshmallows. Usually I like it. Just. But I guess it is kind of bread. You have like bread over crust of a pizza and marshmallows. So you know what? Yeah, those two combinations, I would try it.
Marshmallow's not a bread though.
No, marshmallow's not a bread, but the dough of a bread.
Okay.
With marshmallows, so it would be in the same family, so it would have that sweet. And along with the pepperoni, you would have something kind of tart or savory. So yeah, I would try it.
Okay.
Ta-da.
So.
Is it rad or curses?
Actually, he liked it and it was rad.
Rad. Radical.
So you can check it out for yourself. It's on crack.com. We'll put the link in the show notes. But we will do one last flavor.
Okay. Do I need to prepare myself for this?
So I'm going to have you choose a number, and whatever number you choose is the one we get. So number 3, 2, or 1.
3, 2, or 1. This is almost like, let's make a deal. Like, do you want what's in the, behind the first curtain, the second curtain, or the third?
Exactly. And I can say from the toppings, you're definitely having odds of hitting a whammy. Culinary whammy.
Wait a minute, are we getting like our game shows mixed up here? Okay.
Let's make a deal. This have to win. Oh, the zonk.
The zonk.
You'll get the zonk.
Okay. 3, 1, 2, 2, 1, 3. Okay, I know I'm gonna feel this, so I'm gonna say 3.
Oh God. Number 3 on the list that they tried. It was from an episode. I'm going to roll up. Called Funny, They Shrunk Michelangelo. Which sounds like it's a takeoff of Honey, I Shrunk the Kid.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Honey Nut Cheerios or something. Okay.
This topping is peanut butter, pepperoni, and double yogurt topping. You chose that.
Yes, I did.
So, would you try peanut butter, pepperoni, and double yogurt? And before I say anything, let me just show you the picture.
Is that thing move? Like, is it alive?
It's not. Well, okay. Remember that there are live cultures in yogurt.
Oh, dear Lord.
So technically, yes. It's part of it. There's probiotic cultures in yogurt.
Wait a minute. 'Cause I was like rethinking my yogurt. I'm thinking like yogurt pudding-ish type things. I'm like, no, wow. I'm sweating. I'm like, this is like.
Why don't we just skip ahead and say it's a curses?
I'm feeling like Rick James. I'm like, holy smokes of Jesus. Wow.
It's terrifying. It really
It
is
is a little
terrifying.
scary looking to me, like visually. I would feed it to Stevie Wonder.
You're awful. Why would you say that? That man's a national treasure.
Stevie will try anything.
You are awful, and I do not know you.
Stevie Wonder is a musical genius, but no, I wouldn't even feed it to Stevie Wonder.
You wouldn't feed it to anybody. Okay,
Somebody tried it.
let's just make it easy. Would you try it? Because
No.
that's how the game is going.
No.
Remember, you try it, and then if it's a curses or a radical. I already told you it's a curses.
I'm gonna feed it to Kanye, but no, I can't do it.
Okay. So you can check out the article yourself. They do have some interesting topping and some that surprisingly turned out well. I personally think I would try number one too. I would have to just hold my nose and try it, but it sounds like it's something I could pull off. That's all I gotta say.
Ew.
So now that we've completely horrified our listeners, tell you what, let's just take a moment, we'll regroup, clean our palate, if you will, and then we'll close out with something pleasant by sharing the best thing we ate this week. So you're listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. We'll be right back. Hey guys, I'm JJ Outlaw, better known as the Gourmet Goober, and I'm here to share this great new recipe journal from author Gaby Loreno. It's a progressive cooking journal designed for short and simple recipes at the beginning, before advancing with spaces for longer recipes as you go. It's colorful, fun, fits easily in the kitchen drawer, and it's perfect for any home cook. Best of all, it has over 100 pages for your most beloved culinary delights. Be sure to get your copy today at Amazon.com. Hey everyone, this is JJ Outlaw
and T Outlaw,
and we are back with the last section of the Gourmet Goober podcast, where every week we share the best thing we ate this week. That's where we take, our favorite grubs from restaurants, maybe our favorite takeout, maybe our favorite dining experiences at home. No matter what, we use this in order to just help share with you some of our favorite things in the hopes that you'll have an opportunity to try it for yourself. As always, we include the information in our show notes, and you can also get a running list of any of our past agreements of what's the best thing we ate this week and previous show notes from other shows. So hopefully you'll check it out. Also, as always, we do want to remind the listening audience that we look forward to hearing what the best thing you ate this week. So if you have anything in particular that you would like to share, email us anytime at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. And I'm so excited. The next show, I got the submission for the best thing we ate this week. I cannot wait to share it with you guys. So looking forward to doing so in a future episode. But in the meantime, we always start with Big Daddy. So, hey, what's the best thing you had this week?
Hey, ya.
What is that?
Hey, ya. I'm
It's
sorry,
late,
Miss
y'all.
Jackson.
Oh, don't.
I am for real.
Don't. I hate that song. I have a personal reason why I dislike the song that I'm not going to share.
Gotcha. I understand. So the best thing I ate this week is really going to shock some people because it was actually frozen pizza. And I know you're like, frozen pizza? I can get that anywhere. Yes, you can. You can get it at your local frozen food aisle. But I threw a curve, and of all things, I would like to thank the people of Gino's East for hooking me up with a lovely pizza. Didn't anticipate it was like an emergency pickup because, of course, when you don't have time to grab dinner and you just have to go with what you have in your freezer. We just happened to pick up a Gino's East over the weekend from the store. and the Goober slid into the oven. I would like to give the Goober an assist because she figured out that sometimes if you pull the pizza out of the oven, sorry, if you pull the pizza out of the freezer and then let it sit for a little while, as opposed to going straight frozen, sometimes it makes the crust a little more crispy. I will give it that. But also, I'm also a big fan of Geno's East, straight from the restaurant. So you know that it's always going to be good, but like getting a Geno's East frozen is also great too, whether it be um, the patty, sorry, the patty underneath, the full patty, or the crumbled sausage, the big sausage pan. But I'm just going to tell you, straight up and down, put some extra cheese on top of it, you know, cook it up real good. Sometimes I freely admit, sometimes I'll take that pizza and I will smoke that little bastard. But yeah, I gotta admit that Geno's East was actually the best thing I ate this week.
Okay, first of all, I did not smoke the pizza or add any extra cheese to it because Geno's Cheese Pizza is really good on its own. That said, I can't take credit for the whole, and we talked about this in the previous pizza, or previous episode where we discussed pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to remember where I saw the hint. Actually, I have to give credit, and this is funny, because first of all, take a step back. If you guys aren't familiar, Geno's East is a restaurant chain based out of Chicago, and their mainstay is their deep dish pizza. I mean, they make other types of pizza, um, they like tavern style, which honestly, between everyone listening, tavern style pizza is actually the more popular style of pizza in Chicago. I know that's a shock for some of you who only know Chicago deep dish.
Right.
That said, most people hit up the tavern style, but deep dish is definitely one of the best things about living in where we live. So Geno's East is the company by which this frozen pizza comes from. But the hint I took on how to hook that pizza up, including to thaw the pizza out, actually came from a rival pizza company called Giordano's.
Really?
Yes. Because I had a feeling that you would probably name this as the best thing I ate this week. So this time I looked it up, like, where does that hint come from? So I found out about this hint from an article on mash.com, but then mash.com in the article links to the original place they found it, which was Giordano's. Which, by the way, I cannot say enough about in fact, I'm going to put a link on it in the show notes. Because Giordano's actually has, and I never knew this really great informative page on how to make your frozen deep dish pizzas taste amazing.
Okay.
So, for example, when you get a frozen pizza, if you've ever made a frozen pizza, it actually says, open the box if it's wrapped in plastic, unwrap that bad boy and put it directly on top of, like the oven shelf.
Right.
And you put it in the middle. Actually, that's not true. The best thing you need to do, first of all, is fully thawed out, right? And you need what they use in a restaurant to give that crust that right amount of crispiness so it's not soggy. And we've all had that soggy frozen pizza coming out. So what you do is if you have a cast iron skillet, which we have plenty, you flip that puppy over, right? And then you use the bottom of the cast iron skillet facing up as a pizza stone. So you put it in the oven, you preheat the oven, you with the pot turned over. So that pizza stone is screaming hot. And then you put that thawed pizza on top of the pizza stone, instant nirvana. So that's what I did with your pizza, and that's why it tasted a little bit more like the restaurant,
Okay.
as opposed to like just, if you've done a frozen pizza before, you always get that like weird sogginess at the bottom. That's how you eliminate that. But another hint that I learned from the Giordano's one, which is really good. So what if you have a thin crust, right?
Mm-hmm.
what you do is before you put it in the oven, you still thaw it out, right? But you flip that puppy over, and then
The pan.
no, you flip the pizza over.
Flip the pizza over?
Before you fully unwrap it, you take the wrap pizza, you flip it over, and then you see the bottom side, the crust side, and then you like take a fork or something and put in a couple small holes. The reason being is that air gets caught in that from when it was wrapped and when it thaws out and everything. And by doing that, it lets some of the air out of the dough because you're putting raw dough now because you've thawed out the frozen pizza on the pizza stone. So it allows it to kind of let some of the air out so it doesn't trap that moisture inside, and it helps get the bottom crust crispier. Yes, okay. Right?
This is some weird, wild stuff here. This is...
So you unwrap it from the bottom, and then you flip it over so the cheese side is up, and then you put that unwrapped thing with the holes at the bottom of the crust on the pizza stone. Bam. That Giordano's page is magic. It even gives you hints, like if you got like a basic $3 like frozen pizza or something, how you can shows it up so it tastes like something you get out of the restaurant.
But can it savor Totino's?
Okay, I don't think anyone can savor Totino. Sorry if y'all like Totino's, but that stuff is awful.
Okay.
I did share that one time that I talked about when I was between jobs and I thought that I would pick up an extra shift for something doing shipped. Remember that?
Yes, you did.
I would get, because if you've ever done Instacart or Ship and you go to a place and your shopper has instructions, right? Like they want to pick out a pizza and it's always the shopper's, up to the shopper to like replace the pizza. So if you're out of pizza A and you reach out to the person that you're shopping for, like, hey, they're out of pizza A. Would you like me to place it? Here are your choices. Or I can refund it for you. And it drove me crazy, the people who chose like the cheapest, most yuckiest pizza with like no topping. Like literally it was like the cardboard and like some sprinkles of cheese and stuff. And undoubtedly they would always choose like the bottom of it, like Tostitos, or like not Tombstone, but like what's under Tombstone?
Oh goodness!
Like below Red Baron.
What's okay below Red Baron? Okay, well, I'm trying to think here because I know that I've been past the aisle. I gotta admit I'm a pizza snob. But
not only that, but we went to college together. I know your pizza choices back then.
My pizza choices were still on point in college.
Your roommates were not.
Yeah, my roommates had straight trash for pizzas, but
right.
I really admit I had some pretty good pizzas because I don't do garbage like frozen pizzas at all. I don't eat I'd rather go some restaurant and get semi crappy pizza and like shush it up before I get a frozen pizza and that's straight crap. But yeah, my roommates not so much. They basically they could run through like buzzsaw food and be like, even the vultures would run away from it.
You know what? No disrespect, because we're still friends with your college roommate.
Not anymore.
So I don't want to diss that, but yeah, very bad pizza choices. And no disrespect if your favorite pizza is, like Red Baron or whatever. I grew up eating Red Baron. My only thing is that
I have my pinky finger up right now because that is beneath me.
What I'm trying to say is when you live in a pizza town like Chicago, you kind of become a pizza snob, like you said. So I totally get it. But what I was trying to say with that was I had to eventually stop shopping because I found myself like judging the people whose choices. I'm like, oh, this artisan pizza, it's really good. And they're like, no, I want like this horrible pizza that's comparable in price, but not made as well. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, do you? Which is terrible. And
No, no,
I hate
no,
to admit that I had those thoughts.
no, no. She at one point got a shipped order, and I could audibly hear her contempt for the shopper and the choice that the shopper made. I'm like, they or this is what the pizza they want. She's like, I just can't believe that somebody's taste was that basic. I'm like, what, I guess you gotta fill the order, huh?
I was trying not to share that incident, but yeah. So maybe I'm not the best person to do that job. Although I did enjoy it because, like, I've talked openly on the show. One of the things that I love to do, and I know it's weird, it's I love grocery shopping. So I thought, ooh, I could grocery shop and get paid for it. And then I found, oh, it's too traumatic for me. It's too much stress. It's like all those people who bought American cheese when you know that, like, the better cheese is right there. Okay, sorry. Anyway.
Okay, do you need a moment?
I need a moment.
This is a woman that could have a whole conversation with people in the middle of a Whole Foods while I'm like, I just want to bout this piece.
They approached me first of all. I don't know how that
okay. What
happened. But here's the thing. Going back to your choice. It's a great choice. I will share the link for Gino's Eats, but I'll also put in the link for the how to cook a frozen pizza from Giordano's. And thank you, people from Giordano's, for doing that, because I'm telling you, those hints will change your way that you eat frozen pizza forever.
Also, let me give a shout out to Giordano's because they do go to the restaurant. They have damn good pizza.
They are amazing. But then again, my heart is with deep dish pizza. So I'm one of those people that believe that deep dish pizza is pizza, and I will scrap with you to think if you say otherwise. Jon Stewart. Don't come up on me and insult deep dish pizza because that's my heart.
That's okay. I'm willing to, wait a minute. I'm actually going to do this, and I know we have to jump to what the Goober, what her best thing she ate, but I would like to say for the record, I'm going to agree and disagree with Jon Stewart. Even though you want to say that, New York style pizza is this, which is okay. Chicago pizza might be more pie-ish. Okay, we'll call it pie, but damn it, it's some damn good pie. Because, if your pie is made like this and you put work into it, you ain't gonna be looking like, be sitting there. Watch your rat carry a deep dish off.
They won't.
They won't.
See, it's deep dish is not made for just ordinary people.
No.
We think about this, folks. We willingly stay in a place as cold as Chicago that only literally has like 2 seasons, like winter, and then summer.
Yeah.
And if you laugh at me, clearly you've never spent a Chicago winter in this area.
That's right. And during the pandemic, Lori Lightfoot canceled summer.
Exactly. And you know why we do it? Because of the easy access to deep dish pizza. The cold weather is our personal price to pay for having some of the best pizza on earth. And that's where I'll stand. That is where I will fight my battle from.
Okay.
So now moving on. And I know some listeners at home are like, but technically it's not pizza. It's pizza.
You can call whatever you want. I'm still eating it. You better eat that pie and shut up.
So my choice of the best thing I ate this week, is it, you know what? I know that we had talked about it, although we very rarely talk about it. Right?
Yeah.
And I know, and we don't normally like decide on before the show what the best thing is because we like to surprise each other. But occasionally, like, we'll make something and he'll say, like, you know what? I think this is the best thing you ate this week. This has got to be your choice, right? But I'm always weird about choosing things that I make as the best thing I eat this week. Because it's sort of, I don't know, kind of like bragging on my cooking or whatever.
I bragged on my brisket in the entire first section of this. You think I'm worried?
Well, I was actually going to, instead of the tostadas, I was going to choose, because I made tostadas earlier in the week. They were really good. But actually, I was going to choose your brisket as the best thing we ate this week. And I'm going to say that because I have not stopped eating on the brisket. And it's almost gone.
You mean there's actually some left?
Yeah, there was like a little bit of it left.
She hid it from me.
But this is not ordinary brisket. Big Daddy takes like a corned beef brisket and he rinses all of the stuff off the brisket. Like, although I love me some corned beef. And then the way that you hook it up, you actually smoke it, right?
Yes.
And it's the extra smoke plus the seasoning that just takes it to the next level. Because if you think about it, most people when they prepare corned beef, and this is right in time with like, um, you know, St. Patrick's Day, most people tend to boil it. But if you cook it either in the oven or in Big Daddy's cake, smoke it, it's like a totally different experience. Now I'm spoiled and I don't want it any other way. Now, I would normally share a recipe for when we talk about stuff in the best thing we ate this week section, but Big Daddy doesn't have a recipe. He just sort of puts it together and he seasons it like he jokingly says until the ancestors tell him to stop. So, whatever the ancestors did in hooking you up with how you prepared it this time around, just know it was amazing.
I am shocked. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say that I am like a brisket master or anything like that because, I've been around some guys from Texas and Oklahoma that and let's not forget the Goober's uncle does do a damn good job, hooking up briskets. I have taken some tips, but I'm willing to say I'm gonna try to go toe to toe with them one day. But that being said, the brisket was actually pretty tight. It was actually pretty good. I let it smoke for a long while, half the damn day. Um, and it's just one of those things that practice and then practice on top of practice makes perfect. So I don't have a recipe, but take a good corned beef brisket, or go to if you can find a butcher. I'm a big fan of finding a good butcher that can get you a good cut of beef, brisket side, and take it home and either take it in the oven or find a good smoker and experiment and let it go low and slow. I mean, half the day, don't go look for it. Every once in a while, you may flip it over once, but past that, yeah. Low and slow, and I use dry rubs as opposed to wet rubs. Um, Gotta love my barbecue seasoning, but not sauce. Also, I like to say for the record, if you get a good rib or a good brisket, you know it's good when it's smoked so good that you don't use barbecue sauce at all. I will testify to that. But aside from that, brisket, pretty good. Don't have a recipe. So experiment on your own. That's it.
So, yeah, that is the best thing we ate this week. So, I'll put the links in the show note to the stuff we can. And again, we look forward to hearing from your selection soon. In the meantime, um, let's close out today's show. But before I do, I just want to take an opportunity to say something that I just learned right before we hopped on the mic. And
Oh boy.
no. We talked about it before. You guys may know rapper Khalees. Um, and if you don't know her, you know her epic, iconic song "Milkshake." You know, my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Off mic, she is actually a very talented cook. So I'm familiar not only with her music, but also some of her culinary skills and things she's done over the years. She's just a multi talented, brilliant person. Well, I just found out that she had lost her husband, unfortunately, um, to stage 4 cancer. And, she's a new mom, from what I understand, as well. I know earlier in the podcast we talked about losing the incredibly talented Tracy Braxton. But I also want to give some love and put it out in the universe for Khalees and thanking her for her gift of music as well as her other talents, both on and off the stage. And hopefully, she and her family are doing well during this time. So, just thought I'd mention that because that's been on the back of mine ever since I read about it not that long ago before we hopped on the mic.
Okay.
Um,
Good choice.
that said, we always want to wrap up and share where they can find us. Oh, before we do that, definitely wanted to also share a couple things because occasionally I like someone reached out to me today and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we love your content. How do we support you?" Well, there's a way to do that.
And me scratch.
So, just as a reminder, in the show notes, there is a link to how to support the Gourmet Goober. So, you can certainly do that because we're an indie show. So, that always helps. There's also Goober swag. So, if you would like to show someone that you're gumbo worthy, and not everyone is, you can get your own mug, shirt, whatever, in order to just do that. Or, you don't even have to use money. You can just tell a friend about the show. So I just thought I'd share that.
Okay. Big fan.
So let's close out the show as we do every show. Big Daddy, where can they find you online?
You can find me online on Twitter at Toutlaw, Toutlaw. Once again, I can spell. IG, that would be Toutlaw, Josie Wells, like the movie. And I'm also going to have a quick shout out to the family of Purvis Span, a Chicago icon at WVON,
Oh,
who
no.
recently just passed away.
Oh, I didn't know that. Ooh.
Yeah, he was a big media, I guess, like underground for black entertainment and media radio in Chicago.
Yeah, WVON is huge in the black community here in Chicago. And I had an opportunity. Well, you remember when I worked for the Dar Center and I met Chat Daddy, who was one of their Art Sims, one of their big community leaders. And I think Purvis had just left the building the day that I came in.
You
So yeah, I didn't know that he passed away. Man.
But yeah, condolences go out to his family, his coworkers, and the people that have been impacted, or that whose hand he has had in raising their careers in and around the city and the nation.
Yeah, and he's been a really big advocate for um, black from the black community and in the media industry in general, as far as like you said, advancing careers. So yeah, shout out to Purvis and it's Purvis's family. Yeah. Well, you can find me, JJ Outlaw, at JJ Outlaw on Twitter. You can sorry, I had to think for a second. You can find me on Instagram anytime at Gourmet Goober. And you can visit past episodes, old recipes, for example, because we used to be a food blog, media events, all that good stuff. You can relive it all by going to the gourmetgoober at gmail.com. For Big Daddy and I, we just want to say thank you for listening again. Want to remind everyone that the Gourmet Goober is produced by Plum Good Media. And until next time, happy eating.